Alrighty, this will show you where I'm at right now. You can see the halves are split and they're put on the inside up. And the reason I'm showing you this is that I put the primer sealer on the edges of this pedal tractor, and I was able to get into these areas a little bit better. And these bolt hole areas, I was wanting to paint them. The reason is that when this is put together, I don't want any edges showing where there's no paint. Now I'm going to paint these edges, and just kind of like along these areas. On this area that's open, and so you can get into where the chain is, I'm just going to put a little bit of paint along this edge. I want paint on the edges, and there these bolt hole areas. That's where I was primering. Now I wanted that to beautify this thing a little bit more. Part of this restoration is to improve the beauty of it. Now, I like to let the primer dry a couple days. That's something I like to do. I've now switched over to the primer sealer, and it seems to be working better. This is a little bit of a work in progress and a little bit of a learning curve too, but it's nothing. It's insurmountable, and you know, the mistakes I make are making it easier for you guys to figure a lot of stuff out. But you can see I didn't bead blast on the inside of these, and maybe I should have, but I kind of ran out of stuff to do it. And it really doesn't matter, because this is not going to be exposed, or it's not going to be seen. But the edges is the main thing I was wanting to do was get the edges primered, so that way when I paint it, it'll be okay. Now another problem I ran into, get that out of the way, is, you remember I was showing you guys the other video about the seat and how the spots was coming up, and that was called fish eyes. It's silicone coming through. Yes, I did use a lot of wax and grease remover, but it still happens. That's where the primer sealer, the sealer bit, will come in and eliminate that. Okay, so I resprayed this. Now it had paint on it, and so there's a problem that popped up. Let me show it to you. See that little crazing? The solvents in the primer attacked the paint, and it kind of got this raised area to coming up like that. It did it on the top side, and it did it pretty good here on the bottom. Now that's because the paint, it attacked the paint. I mean, there's, like I said, there's solvents and stuff like that in the I've even seen this happen to me with clear coat. Number one, I put this on too heavy. If I'd done just real light coats, I wouldn't have had these problems. But for me, all I'm going to do is re-sand this. Start primering it lightly. Maybe do a primer coat every day. Just light, and smooth it down. This primer sealer has the ability to be sanded, and that's a good thing on it. So I'm going to sand this back out and repaint this. This is not insurmountable, but it's a problem that I want to show you guys. In the event you have it, you can overcome it. I'm going to sand this back down and just re-prime it, and primer it lightly this time. I've had these problems before in the past, and I've been able to overcome it, so that's what I'm going to do. But also you can see on the seat how smooth that is. When this is done, it'll look incredible. It'll be nice, glossy, have what's the creamy texture to it, which is the good parts to a paint job. But these are problems I was wanting to show you guys because they will come up. Like I say, it's nothing insurmountable. Just fix a problem and keep going. But that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to sand on that in a little bit and re-primer it lightly this time. I've painted the front side, or the viewing side, I guess you would call it, with the primer sealer, and sealing that all up. I'm going to let it dry a couple days, and I'm going to start putting the spot putty and fill in the scratches that are along these edges and stuff like that. The big flat areas, smooth them out with that spot putty. And this sealer primer has the ability to be sanded, so I can lightly sand it and smooth it down. But that's where I'm at right now, and like I said, this is a progress that's going on. I wanted to show you some of them problems that can be fixed, and go at it from there. So stay tuned, there'll be more coming.